Hello everybody, Andrew Casey from Hypersanity Books. Today I'll be talking about 4 types of relationships. With this particular example, it uses 2 circles. So it should be easy enough to understand. I'll give it in the basic explanation. Otherwise you can apply this to just about every aspect of your relationships in your personal life. And this also helps for your writing. Otherwise, let's get into it. Number 1, assimilation. Think about the little circle as one person, and think of the big circle as either another person, think of it as a family group, think of it as a culture, religious group, etc. Assimilation is forcing change over one person. So if we're talking in a more common situation that we're seeing with domestic violence, you have one person stuck in a situation, partner, child, family member, etc. And there's a force of change that these are the rules or this is what's going to happen. Also with this example, it can be used as a cultural issue, it could be a religious issue. Sometimes it can be, in history we've talked about, cultural takeovers, invasions, and then the big circle is the mass group that forces change over the little guy. Assimilation is the most toxic situation out of the 4. It is the more likely to lead to suicide, to death. It is also a personal struggle.
Because I'd make sure that nobody in the industry would ever hire you again?
Bullshit.
No, because they're going to want my letter of recommendation, right? So I'm perfectly willing to write that you are an insubordinate, dishonest drunk.
Number 2, marginalized. Notice the big circle and then the little circle is pushed to the side. This is also extremely toxic. This is engaging in conflict. However, the conflict of the little person is not in the middle or in the assimilation. This also keeps a toxic situation going, trying to find resolution where it's just about impossible to find resolution. So with this type of example, it could be a society and the little circle is trying to be part of that society and it's not going to work. This type of situation also works well for the movie Joker, where Arthur Fleck is calling himself Joker, and he's trying to be part of a society that he cannot be a part of.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
What's wrong with your real name?
That's what you called me on the show, a Joker.
And Murray Franklin is the big circle. Once he does, you got the climactic point within the film where he's no longer caring, the situation turns 180. So marginalized can be quite interesting to write about. It can be engaging into your conflict to your story. Number 3, separators. This applies to everyone. We have people in our life. A plain example of separators is acquaintances, people that we don't get too close to. Sometimes this also works for mystery stories. Are they in a relationship? Are they not in a relationship? To be or not to be, that is the question. This type of, it's called aporia or rhetorical questions. There are some mystery stories that work well this way because you're not sure because the 2 characters are world apart. Separators also works well for removing yourself from a toxic environment, as you see from the first 2 examples. Separators works really well for certain work situations. You might be able to work with some people and some people you just cannot. So there are sometimes different ways on how you try to work together and then go separate ways. The character Nigel in The Devil Wears Prada, I'll touch on this one in another video, but he does all 4 types of relationships in that one scene. However, in his personal life or his work life more so, he has the boundary set with people as a way of not being part of the chaos that everyone else is in. So separated relationships are quite interesting to understand. I also find for a lot of co-parenting situations, it has to be worlds apart. Otherwise, as I said in the end of Dark Sparrow, you got two worlds, mum's world, dad's world, and in the middle is the child. If there is conflict between the two worlds, that does not make the child's world safe. However, not every situation can be sugar and rainbows. Number 4, together. This is the most healthiest relationship. Now, I will also point out, as mentioned in the other 3 points, yes, together is not just romantic in how you work with others. There's 2 circles, and in the middle is the relationship. That's 2 people being equals. The relationship is, well, however, each person are still 2 individual people in what they're doing. So, for an example, some workplace situations, you can have 2 people working together in an emergency or in another type of problem-solving situation, and in the middle is where they meet, and there's an equal balance on how they're trying to resolve a problem. Now, yes, there is some situations where someone has to take the lead and someone else assists. However, it's still defined between the 2 characters being equals. That's the big point on this. It's trying to keep a balance of equality. Even though there are different aspects, there are different factors that will say otherwise to the situation. Father and son doing something together, even though there's that role of the father and the role of the child, it is working in together. I find this to be quite a common situation, quite a common relationship. My spouse, we're together 6 years in March. They've been the best years of my life. And into prior years before that, we worked together in a workplace, not somewhere we want to be in our life now. Life's moving forward. However, from that, we just kept growing and growing. We find other challenges that we're faced with and we resolve. I also find other people that I can work in with for different things. It's the same. You'll see this example on LinkedIn. You see it on TikTok. A lot of different social media apps use the 2 circles as a point of equality. So when you're writing certain characters that are non-toxic, think about these situations. Now, yes, there will be other situations that will cause that imbalance. However, more to the point, it's trying to keep the relationship together, whether it's romantic or not. That's the other thing to consider. So, as I've already said, sharing a little bit, apply some of these 4 examples into your personal life and look at it into your writing. These 4 examples will help your writing get quicker, faster, more effective, and a lot more realistic, which works well. Otherwise, that's it for today. Hit like, subscribe, comment. If you have any other requests or need to email me, there's my email. I am on different forms of social media, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!